How is it going, guys? Malagant here. So we're going to be looking at the first, well, this is actually the second hotfix ever since the cycle and the game launched. So it's like 102 is the name, and it just came out, and I'm going to be making the video just after that. There are two topics about this that are kind of like controversial, I suppose is the way to put it. Simply because like it's going to be taking some heat. Basically, EHG is going to be taking some heat from the player base because of their approach here, I think. And we're going to be basically talking about that a little bit. And I'll also drop down the link below if you would like to, read out the entire patch notes. Feel free to, definitely. There are a certain number of like fixes for controller, UI, some like skills interactions right there. There's some like transition time improvements, as you can see, pretty good. So you can now link from the game guide to the chat. There was apparently some sort of like an issue there before. So this is one of the topics that is coming up now. If you see over here, greatly reduce the sell price of arena keys and arena key memory. This was done to remove the burden of optimal Merchants Guild player to not feel like they needed to level up a COF and use arena key prophecies to farm gold effectively. So now, arena keys are setting for 175 instead of 6.5k. And I guess they have copy-pasted this twice. Am I missing something? I'm not really sure. And the memory one is setting for 265 instead of 7.2k. That's a ridiculous nerf to the arena key gold. Now, what's, you might just say like, all right, whatever, it's like an offline player or maybe an MG player. But at the end of the day, this is a big nerf to monetary gain, well, gold gain in the game, 100%. If you're playing COF, I am not necessarily talking about the prophecy. I have personally never even done the arena key prophecy or whatever ever. But most of my gold is probably more than likely coming from selling arena keys, even then, because like I'm collecting them, right? And we're selling them for a single one 6.5k. Sometimes you get double from like the reward of the echo. And now there's going to be a huge nerf to the amount of like gold that we're going to be gaining, where the gold is going to more tabs, obviously. So it's going to be like a little bit more limited, while MG is going to be, keeping up with a like gold sales, of course, from the auction house or the market bazaar. Yeah. So this is grabbing a lot of heat. I would like to know what you think about this. And in this link, if you just like scroll down below and read people's replies, you will understand what I'm talking about. There's quite a bit of like backlash that EHG is taking for this. I am not necessarily sure what I think about it. Like when I read the reasoning, right, this has done to remove the burden of like the optimal MG player. Optimal, like, are you talking about like a? Because like are you talking about like a crazy efficient MG player out there? Because like I cannot necessarily imagine a friend of mine that is like playing Merchants Guild, right? And then he's like, oh, no, you don't understand. I had to create a second character and go to COF. And then they level up my like COF tiers, I go to like COF 6 or something so that I can equip 2 lenses. And then afterwards, I had to spam the keys so that I can get some gold, right? Key prophecies. And to get those prophecies, I had to farm some, mobs so that I have favor. So I get all those arena key prophecies, and now I have gold to spend on MG. I don't, I have some friends that are like religiously playing this game. I don't think any one of them would have said this to me. So who is this optimal player? I'm not sure about that one. That's my first point. It's so weird. I suppose like we're still maybe talking about, maybe we are worried about a little bit like the gold selling. I think this is like that's I think that's what it is. It's like masked, but perhaps like the gold sellings websites, which there are lots. Maybe this is the way that they are generating the gold, and this post right over here is not necessarily telling this to us. It could definitely be that way. I'm not really sure. I mean, that has to be right, because like this is a drastic change. So from here, I'm actually going to be linking this to something. It's going to be my 2 cents. I'm sorry if this is going to be upsetting anybody out there that is a fan of Last Epoch. I really, really like this game, okay? I've been covering this game. Like, if you're unfamiliar with my content, I bought this game 5 years ago, before it was on Steam, and you can find the proof in my YouTube channel from like 5 years ago videos. And at the same time, I'm still like religiously making content out of that. All right, so, and I love Last Epoch. I love the way that it launched. I love Cycle One, and I think it's in a very good direction. But now, so the things that I'm going to be saying right now doesn't necessarily, it's not coming out of my mouth because I'm like a hater or something. Definitely not. It's just some stuff that I really don't understand about this game right now. So it is kind of like this. It's kind of like a band-aid, and it's unfortunately hurting. Sorry. The honest and the regular, the optimal player, actually. It's honestly hurting the normal player and lowering their experience to just fix something else. And I think that is the problem with EHG right now. And there's a bigger problem in this post, is that like I do believe that like it's actually hidden. So it's not even well communicated, in my opinion. So where I'm going to be going with this is that two other topics that I want to talk about from here, not necessarily about patch notes, but one of them is going to be the MTX not available to offline players. So their take is that like if you want to play offline, so be it. The client is available to you in your computer, you can play completely offline. However, you won't be able to use your MTXs. Simply because we don't want to give those files to your computer. If we do that, then anybody can basically, somehow figure out a way to basically use all the MTXs out there without paying anything. Now I understand this approach perfectly, don't get me wrong. But like, put that aside, just think about on a perspective of your perspective where you're actually the spender, okay? So you're playing a game, you like supporting EHG, you like supporting Last Epoch, and you love playing Fireball in this game. And next day they're coming up with an MTX, an animation MTX to Fireball that looks so freaking flashy. You're so excited about this. You're gonna pay for it. I would pay for it instantly. I bought so many Righteous Fires in Path of Exile, you have no idea. So that being said, you buy it and now you're limited to only online. But why? Like, I paid for it. Let me just use it for offline as well. Now that's my point, Even though you do understand the logic that they're using, it's kind of unintentionally hurting the actual player. You shouldn't give a shit about the cheater. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my approach. It kind of makes me angry that like these kind of fixes are actually hurting the real player or the real supporter. You know what I mean? I really dislike that quite a bit, actually. The other day, I'm not gonna rant on this more, but I'm gonna give you another example. Unfortunately, the other day they actually said that like they're closing down the family sharing from the game as well. I have this game 3 copies. I'm not family sharing. I wouldn't mind family sharing either, to be honest with you. If my son had like a Steam, he's not old enough yet, but if he had a Steam, I would share it with him. He could play, right? But the point is, they closed the family share because apparently RMTers or like RMT websites, I have no idea, or RMT players, I legitimately don't know which one it is or how they are doing it. I legitimately don't know. And to be fair, I don't care. But because of them, they had to now disable what is it called again? Family share. So you need to own the game, basically, on your own Steam account, even if like your mother or your sister or your sibling, other sibling, whatever, has the game. It doesn't matter. You won't be able to play by their Steam share anymore. It's not possible whatsoever, simply because, they had to, put a barricade in front of the RMT. Again, like it's hurting. I don't think they should be they should be taking precautions, cautions or the decisions that are they shouldn't be okay with like blocking or like I don't know. You probably understand what I'm saying. It's pretty frustrating for me, or the way that like they are handling things. I do know that like this launch is very big for them. It is probably putting them into like certain locations or like decisions that they are not going to be proud of in the long run, but they kind of feel like they have to. Perhaps that's about it a little bit as well. But I would honestly like they are more than welcoming when it comes to like a new player base. They're more than friendly when it comes to like a mod team, right? Developer team, incredibly friendly, incredibly good communication for the most part, right? Ups and downs, everything, incredible good communication. So they, in my opinion, they have it in them to have better decision making, 100%. And all I am trying to say is they're making wrong decisions, and it is hurting the better player base that they should take care of, 100%. And that is really frustrating for a fan like me. So the second thing about this patch notes right over here that's taking quite a bit of backlash right now from the fan base, or like the player base I should say, is that there is one change in this patch, and another change will be releasing soon, which we wanted to speak a little bit more than just listing. These are the changes to Ghost Flame Spirit Kindling node, included in this patch, and the Diebomb's Cloud Gatherer node. By the way, I've been playing Diebomb with my character, and I don't have this node, so maybe I should have checked it out. Being released in the near future. So Ghost Flame, it says like fix the bug where Ghost Flame Spirit Kindling could apply to the player if it had previously hit a Wraith during its lifetime and not currently hitting the Wraith. This unfortunately doesn't mean anything to me because I didn't play and I have no idea what it is. But it is a bug fix, as you can see. Both of these nodes are exceptionally overperforming, but that's not why we're changing them right now. We are changing them because of the performance impact these skills are causing, more specifically their tendency to crash the servers. Our current stance is that we won't issue mid-cycle changes for balance, such as Profane Veil's Vampiric Blood node. I don't know what this is. I'm not going to search for it for now. While the node is much stronger than intended, it's not causing performance issues, so it will just instead be changed with the next cycle patch. This stance is of course open to feedback. It's not carved in stone. If there's high demand to fix bugs or make changes that affect balance mid-cycle, we can adjust. While these changes are being made for performance reasons, they also do carry considerable impact to power levels of these skills. This automatically raises some questions, to which we have provided a short Q&A below of what we think are the biggest questions. Will existing entries be removed? The answer is no. Diebomb's Cloud Gatherer has been known and used since release. Why are you only changing it now? We were willing to live with the node being in balance, but it wasn't until later that we realized players are maintaining Smoke Bomb in echo of a world as they ran echoes. Which means as more and more smoke bombs are piling up, the server becomes more and more unstable and eventually crashes. Why not fix it in a way that keeps it as powerful as it currently is, but without the server issues? Investigating a skill for appropriate balance changes that's not purely numerical takes a fair amount of time. From design discussions to implementation to Q&A and finally merge and release. For cases like this, it's unfortunately taking this time means it comes at the cost of time spent towards other bugs or new content when we only plan to remove it as soon as the new cycle starts. So it is this was pretty difficult for me to read. I'm sorry because there wasn't so much dots. It was a long sentence, I think. But I think what they're pretty much saying is that like we would rather spend our time elsewhere, since especially the next cycle is going to be removed. Simply put, it's going to be nerfed to hell. So why is this gathering a lot of negative reaction from the player base? Is like obviously there's this obvious first, right? The players that are like using these are going to be heavily nerfed, and the second thing is the fact that these are the only stuff, like there are several other things that are like crazy overperforming, right? So some people are saying, I mean, those are bugged too, just do your bug fixes. Just like it's over here, right? If there's a high demand to fix bugs or make changes that affect balance mid-cycle, we can adjust. So they're saying like we're open to feedback, like let us know how you think about it. That is kind of like the bait, and that bait is being, they're hooking in quite a lot of reaction from the crowd where they are saying, well, fix the bugs, like we don't care, you know, like if it's a big nerf to this, or well, there are certainly like crazy builds out there with ward. Apparently I haven't tested out a ward build yet myself, but I think I'm happy about the fact that like I didn't, because apparently it's possible to get to like 50k ward and stuff like that, which is pretty insane, to be perfectly honest with you. So people are crying out loud right now and saying like, yeah, continue, you know, bug fixing. So if you would like to be one of those people, perhaps like you should, you know, put a reply to this forum post. Again, this link is going to be down below in the description. So for taking your time with that rant, I hope you're not going to mind it. And at the same time, I would like to know what you think about not only this patch, but also their like, let's say their thoughts that they have shared with us, EHG's thoughts. Definitely like this approach when it comes to like fixing it, because it is causing some like server issues, but we didn't really want to fix it otherwise because like, you know, it's overpowered, fine, but it will be nerfed in the next cycle thing. But what about like the underperforming stuff then, you know? I mean, are we always going to be like kind of feeling like we have to play the strongest character in that case? Because like there's a very, very big difference in most of those cases. So like, which one is the real gaming experience? It's like my question, you know what I mean? So I would like to know what you think about this type of approach. And at the same time, I would like to know what you think about like what they should be doing in these like hot fixes. Should it be just like touching the balance at all, or like should it be just like bug fixes and performance improvements? Thank you for watching. I'm gonna see you next time. Peace out, YouTube.